one sadhu went to a king. And the king said, "You have come to my court, ask what you want." The sadhu said, "I don't want to be greedy. I've got this little vessel. So just fill up this vessel with precious things." The king said, "Such a small thing?" He instructed his servants and ministers, "Fill it up." Now they got some precious stones from his treasure house and filled it, but it was still empty. They brought some more and filled it. It was still empty. They brought some more. They kept on bringing and bringing, and the vessel did not fill up. Finally, the king had to admit defeat. He said, "What is this vessel? Our whole treasure house got empty. And yet this vessel was not full." The sadhu said, "This vessel is a person's heart. Our human beings' heart is like that. We get the whole world and still it will never be enough." Supposing God gave us a blank check and said, "Write what you like on it. I will give it to you." What would you ask for? This is like get the answer first and give the question later on. Actually, that's the way it is. This God's universe is such. Right now, we are at a preliminary stage in the evolution of the soul. So it's not that what we want gets fulfilled. But when we go ahead, that is how it will be. Whatever you want, God will give it to you. So what do you want? There are primarily two options that people choose. One is Bhakti and the other is Mukti. So what is Bhakti? Bhakti is the desire to enjoy worldly happiness. And that worldly happiness is of 5 kinds. Why 5 kinds? Because we have got 5 senses. So we wish to enjoy the objects of these 5 senses. Things to see, things to smell, things to touch, things to taste, and things to hear. We are restrained that we only have these 5 senses to enjoy. And the whole world is the subject of these 5 senses. So this is the desire for Bhakti. Now, in pursuit of that, we are running. Somebody may say that, "Well, Swamiji, I'm running for money." But why do you want money? Through money, you will get these 5 things. The problem with this bhakti or worldly enjoyment is that it is endless. The more you try and enjoy, the more your desires will become inflamed. And there will never be any contentment in this. Nobody will ever say, "Okay, I have had enough of bhakti now." The more you have, the more you will want. Andrew Carnegie was considered one of the people who built America. He was the steel king of America. He had 30 millionaires in those days employed by him, serving him. He was asked at the end of his life, "Why did you earn so much? And now you're going to leave it all behind. What was your motivation?" He said, "I wanted to see whether my desire wins or I win. And my desire has won. Because it is still unsatiated. It says, I need more and I need more. So I wish to come back again and try and fight with my desire once again." And that is the nature of bhakti. Now think. You may say, "Swamiji, how can I be happy, satisfied, because there are people who are ahead of me?" Think it from another perspective. There are millions of people in India who will say, "Oh my God, these guys are living in houses that are like mansions and driving these big cars. If only I had that, I would be happy." And you have got it all, and still the heart is not happy. And the person ahead, that person is also feeling the same thing, the next person is also feeling. So wherever you go, there is a higher and higher category. In other words, this bhakti is like a fire where more you put ghee on it, the more the conflagration will increase. Some people, they realize that running after Maya is futile. It may take one lifetime to realize. It may take 10 lifetimes, 100 lifetimes, 1,000,000 lifetimes. At the end, a person realizes that these desires have no end. And there is no happiness in them. So that person says, "All right, now I don't want bhakti." So what do you want? God will give. What do you want? So he says, "I want mukti." "Hey Bhagavan, hamari mukti kara do. O taran hare, humko tar do. Hamara beda par kara do." In various ways, people ask God for liberation, for salvation, for nirvana. There are different names for it. So what does mukti mean? Mukti means liberation, a chutti. What is this chutti about? You know, in the world you were under the bondage of Maya. And Maya was troubling you with Adi Atmik, Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik Kasht. And then you say, "Are, this world is terrible, so miserable, so difficult. If only I can be liberated, all will be well, I will be at peace." In our Shad Darshan, Mimamsa, Vedant, Nyaya, Vaisheshik, Sankhya, Yog, 5 of the darshans have accepted mukti as the highest goal. Mimamsa, Nyaya, Vaisheshik, Sankhya, Yog. Only Vedant goes beyond. Vedant says, mukti is all right, but in God's realm, you can get something even higher than mukti. That is bhakti. So why is bhakti higher than mukti? Because if you get bhakti or divine love or divya prem, then God will get enslaved. And if God is enslaved, Mukti is under God, you will automatically become Mukt. Mukti swayam mukulitanjali sevate sman dharmartha kama gataya samaya pratiksha. This verse says that if you get bhakti, then Mukti will come and offer its service. Please accept me in your seva. And dharma, arth, kam, they are in any case there at your beck and call. Kagbhushundi had told Bhagavan Ram, Bhagati karat soi mukti gosai anichit avat bariyai. If you get bhakti, mukti will be automatic. So then why not choose bhakti? Mukti means all my miseries should disappear. That is mukti. There are so many problems in the world, Swamiji, you don't understand, you are not a grihasti. I know how terrible it is. If I can become mukt, I'll be the happiest person in the world. But mukti means cessation of material misery. And bhakti means relishing divine bliss. If you relish divine bliss, material misery will automatically go. Like one person says, oh God, I'm very poor, please remove my poverty. And the other says, oh God, please make me a billionaire. The poverty will automatically go if you become a billionaire. In the same way, if we get the bliss of God, this mukti will automatically vanish. That is why the intelligent person doesn't ask for mukti, asks for bhakti. Mukti will go automatically. But if you want bhakti, then there is a condition to it. You must give up 2 desires. Actually, you must give up 4 desires. The desire for dharma, the desire for arth, the desire for kam, and the desire for moksha. And if somebody says, no, Swamiji, I will only give up 3 desires, I will not give up 4 desires. In that case, give up these desires. The desire for ihalok, worldly opulence, the desire for parlok, to go to swarg, and the desire for mukti. If you want bhakti. And if you say, no, I only will give up 2 desires. In that case, give up these 2 desires. The desire for bhukti and the desire for mukti. Rupa Goswami, who wrote a scripture on bhakti, he says, Bhukti mukti sprihayavat pishachi ridhi vartate tavad bhakti sukhasyatra kathamabhyudayo bhavet. He says there are 2 dakinis, 2 witches. Those witches, chudail, if they stay in our heart, then Mahadevi Bhakti will not manifest. And if you want that Mahadevi to come and sit in your heart, Bhakti, then you will have to get rid of these 2 chudails, dakinis. One is Bhukti and one is Mukti. We need to give up Bhukti. This is understandable. But if we have to give up worldly desires, all the scriptures say, Yo na kamayate kinchit brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Because there is one mind. If that mind is engaged in worldly desires, then with which mind will we do bhakti? So if you want bhakti, you have to give up the worldly desires. That is understandable. But why should you have to give up the desire for mukti? What is wrong? Mukti is not a worldly desire. Mukti is the desire to get rid of worldly desires. What is wrong with mukti? The jnanis, their professed lakshya, professed goal is mukti. Maharshi Patanjali in his Yog Darshan, he has expressed mukti as the goal. And the Bhakt says, Dharamana aratana kama ruchi gatina chahu nirvana janama janama rati rama pada yaha varadanana an. Bharat Maharaj says, I don't want dharma, arth, kam or moksha. I only want love at the feet of my Ram, birth after birth. Birth after birth means I don't want mukti. So he is saying that this mukti is also rejectable. Why? What is wrong with mukti? Think and tell me, why do we need to give up mukti if we want bhakti? Self-serving. That has hit the nail on the head. Mukti is self-serving. What does that mean? You see, bhakti is the reverse of self-serving. Bhakti means love. True love. And that true love means to give, to give, to give. In other words, not self-serving, not the happiness, our own happiness, but the happiness of our beloved. So why do we want bhakti? For our happiness. And why do we want mukti? That is also for our happiness. You know, there's so many problems in the world. If they all finish, I will be so happy. So mukti is also a selfish desire. Have you ever thought of that? One person says, oh God, I am so poor, remove my poverty. One person says, oh God, I am getting so many problems in the world, remove them all and make me mukt. So he's got a bigger self-seeking desire. Keeping this in mind, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, कि मोक्ष वांछा kaitav pradhan. In the path of bhakti, the desire of mukti is the biggest dosh, the biggest defect. And Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj has elsewhere said, he says, Brahmaloka paryanta sukha aru mukti hu sukha tyaga tabe dharahu pag prema path nahi lagi jai hai daag. He says, if you wish to walk the path of divine love, then give up sukh up to Brahmalok and the desire for mukti as well, or the pure water of divine love will get tainted, kalank, it will get blemished. What is this pure water of divine love? No self-seeking. Self-seeking is our nature, not since 30 years or 40 years or 50 years or 60 years, since endless lifetimes. And that is not easy to give up. How will you give up self-seeking? Everybody is seeking the happiness of the self. Why did you get married? For the other's happiness. Don't fool me. The only reason you got married, you thought you will get happiness. So this nature of self-seeking is so strong that even when we go to the spiritual path, we are focused only on what will I get. And bhakti is not given to somebody who is a self-seeker. And why not? Because if somebody gets bhakti, God will become a servant of that person. He says, aham bhakta paradhin. If there's even a tinge of self-seeking in that person, he will take advantage. Now Sri Krishna was my servant. Sri Krishna get up, Sri Krishna sit down, Sri Krishna get up, Sri Krishna sit down. Imagine, Sri Krishna is your servant and you have self-seeking, you can take full advantage. So Sri Krishna says, this bhakti I will only give when even the slightest tinge of self-seeking is removed from your heart.